What's going on, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Jake and Joe Bengals postgame show presented by First Star Logistics, where, and this is a slogan I wish we didn't have, even when the Bengals lose, you can win. We're giving away a jukebox later in this episode. If you use hashtag First Star Logistics in the chat, you only have to enter that hashtag once, and you have a chance to win a whole friggin' jukebox, man. And that would
It is
make
pretty cool,
somebody's
actually.
day better. I mean, it's really cool. Who has a jukebox?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that thing. It's got some Bengals stuff on the side of it and everything. Awesome stuff from our partners, First Star Logistics, our fantastic partners that always have awesome stuff to give away. Next week, we've got some 3D metal wall art to give away for you. Make sure you're following at First Star Log on Twitter for all of the giveaway details. And First Star Logistics is hiring. They're our fantastic partner. Maybe they could be a partner for you as well. One of the fastest growing companies in the Cincinnati area is looking to expand its brokerage department by hiring you. If you're looking for a fast-paced career in the logistics visit firststarlogistics.com for details on how you can join the team, one of the top companies to work for in the Cincinnati area. The Cincinnati Bengals, certainly not one of the top teams to work for in the Cincinnati area after losing another particularly brutal game following Thursday night football. The trend that just won't get undone by Joe Burrow. The Zach Taylor Cincinnati Bengals cannot win a freaking football game in the week after Thursday night football. They dropped to 0-6-1 in weeks following Thursday night games, including that wacky kicking game against Green Bay back in 21, the Baltimore walk-off in 22. The Bengals took a lead with like 2 minutes left, and Justin Tucker kicks a game-winning field goal, coming back from 27-6 to 27-7 against the Los Angeles Chargers, who proceeded to go 84 yards in 27 seconds and score a touchdown to win, and the New York Jets and Buffalo Bills games this year. I mean, that trend, apparently more powerful than scoring 33 points. Although the Bengals are pretty bad at this too. The Bengals in the last 2 years, when scoring 33 or more points, are now 4-7. The rest of the NFL is 136-10.
Crazy.
The Bengals were 16-1 with a 10-point halftime lead or greater in the Zach Taylor era. The only loss prior to today was against the Jets, also this year. Jay Morrison also pointing out that the Bills are 1-28 in their last 29 games when they trailed by at least 10 at halftime. So, really a meltdown. On the whole thing considered, meltdown. You were there, Joe.
I was.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So my perspective may be a little bit different. As you know, sometimes it is hard to see what is going on. I was in the end zone, so it's sometimes I cannot gauge how much distance someone is gaining. I don't, especially on run plays. But it did not seem like Chase Brown was getting much on the ground today. This is a defense, the Bills, that has been bad against the run, as the Bengals have as well. And, I thought that was a big thing. So I see a comment, Joe looks like we're in skiing. I am red. That is from the wind and the cold. The atmosphere was awesome. I will say that, I do like snow games. I do like the way they look. I assume as aesthetically, they look great on TV as well. And Burrow threw four touchdowns. So it didn't seem to affect him, other than I thought the one drive right before the half got really windy all of a sudden. I don't know why, but the flag just started whipping on the post. And then the ball was coming out weird. So other than that, I thought he was fine. So my head's a little bit scrambled. I honestly just got in the door about 10 minutes ago. It's a heartbreaking loss. It's one of those games, again, I feel like we've done this. We could probably count up this year where we go, how the heck did they lose this game? And just another meltdown, collapse. It really comes down to the two interceptions, but really we could boil it down to a few things. The two interceptions back-to-back heartbreaker. The backbreaker is what I want to say. That kills you. It's so hard to overcome that in a game that felt like you were dominating for the most part, but couldn't pull away from the Bills. They were going blow for blow with you for a while there, and you have those back-to-back. It's so hard to overcome that. But also, there was a drive where, and I would like to, I don't know what Zach Taylor said or T. Higgins was still out there at the end of the game. He caught that one-handed touchdown. But there was two drives back-to-back. I think end of the second half, beginning of the end of the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, where Higgins is just not coming down with these balls. He even bobbled that one that he converted on third down, and it looked like he hit his head again. I don't know if he was frustrated at the bobble or if he hit his head again, but he stayed in the game. But like those two drives really got the Bills back into it and put you within. Now it's a blow for blow offensive shootout game that turned into, what was it, 34 total points scored in the fourth quarter. Just there's a lot to say. It boils down to just being a heartbreaking. Can't believe it happened again. Can't believe I fell for it again, Jake.
It feels so much like so many of their losses in the last 2 years. I think this is the dumbest out of all of them for several reasons. That's what I've been saying so far on things that I've put out since the game ended anyway. So this is just like the dumbest way you could lose a game. There's so many self-inflicted issues here. Yeah, T. Higgins was dealing with something. It's weird that he continued to play through the game. He hit his head 3 times in this game. But even before, before he hit his head, I think he was like just having issues double catching a few passes anyway. He doesn't like the cold. He said after the game he doesn't like the cold. He was very serious at his locker, maybe because he had a headache. He hit his head a lot. He reacted every time he did it. Maybe he's like worried about it after last week because last week's was bad. Maybe that's what the reaction was. I don't know. Not going to speculate. He cleared the concussion protocol a couple of times, but yeah, we can start with the Joe Burrow interceptions, right? The second one is just bad luck. The first one is also a little bit bad luck, but also a callback to your pregame.
Cole, you got me there. You're right. He did. I did. I did not think of that. He did answer the goblin mask. He said, I'm not going to run this. We're going to throw this.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, what gets me about this play, and this isn't even the beginning of the dumb stuff that occurs in this game, but you're driving to take a 2-score lead. You're on the Buffalo 33. You're in a first down. Zach Taylor calls a running play. You can tell it's a running play. I guess I can pull up the play here. You can tell it's a running play because I got to mute that because the offensive line is run blocking here. Let's put this on the screen. So watch the offensive line if you're wondering why Joe Burrow throws this ball. And this corner is going to blitz, right? And Joe's going to see this blitz. He's staring at it.
He sees it right now, yeah.
He's looking at it. He's like, he blitzed earlier. I see the body language. Joe's talking about how good he is at reading body language. He's like, I can put this out to Jamar. And then this linebacker, Matt Milano, I think, has to get all the way over here, or Jamar is going to be able to run down this sideline. Maybe score a touchdown. Maybe get a first down. Worst case, Joe's probably thinking incomplete pass. Could also hand the ball off. This is a called run. Watch the offensive line here. Look at the way the offensive line is blocking. These guys are all run blocking. None of this is a pass set. These guys are going downfield. And this is what Joe sees, right? When Joe decides to throw this ball, it's probably pre-snap he decides to throw this ball, but he thinks, I just need to put this over Benford, put this out in front of Jamar a little bit, but I don't want this linebacker to get into it because he felt this linebacker. He talked about this play after the game. Okay. He said, if I put it too high, the linebacker might get to it. And here you see where the linebacker is. Maybe he can put it out toward the sideline a little bit is my only thought here. Like maybe you can push this outside the numbers and get Jamar in that direction. But I mean, heck of a play from Christian Benford here to just get in that passing lane, just catch it clean. I mean,
defensive player of the week last week.
And again this week, because he had 2 blitzes in this game that were absolutely game-changing. This more so than the other one, but the other one in that drive you're talking about where Burrow looked a little bit off. He had the ball go to T. The T didn't catch on the sideline, but also it was a floater. It came out of his hand weird. I don't think it came out of his hand clean. It was snowing harder at that point, in addition to the wind that you're talking about in the stadium. And then the next play to set them up in that 3rd and 18 was Christian Benford getting totally aware on the sack, on the slot blitz, and getting Joe Burrow that unaware of a slot blitz is
2 weeks in a row.
You do not see
those only 2 sacks he's taken, right?
Got like that super often overall. So a lot of credit to those couple of play calls there and Christian Benford for making good on him. Those are 2 huge moments in this game. But man, like I said, when Joe threw that ball, I'm sure he's thinking worst case here. This is like incomplete or I had to put it high so Jamar gets tackled before he can get going. There's no way he's thinking this guy's going to take this thing for 6.
Yeah, it's extremely bad luck, to be honest, the 2 back-to-back plays. But it is answering that goblin mask and, saying, you know what, we're going to throw it and maybe it's because they were averaging 1.9 yards per carry with Chase Brown today. And it's like, if you felt more confident that this would gain 4 yards rather than keep putting me in, and keep putting me in 3rd and 7 situations, that's not ideal, right? You don't want to answer that call too many times. So if they were running the ball better, maybe he just does. But I agree. Like we've talked about this a little bit, and I've had some comments lately. Like the difference really between the Flacco offense and the Burrow offense really is just that Flacco kind of just ran what Zach called. He did have some RPOs built in. He did do those things. But like this is really the first time it's been a direct impact on the wins and losses. And it's a plain and obvious example of, just leaning on the pass a little bit too much. And it was Burrow's call.
I mean, you talk about the difference between the Flacco offense and the Burrow offense.
This
is a difference between the Flacco offense
and because he sees Poyer blitzing here. So he wants to go quick to Chase Brown in the flats. Poyer isn't blitzing. He comes off it. They send a blitz from the middle. So as Burrow tries to reset, he's got to make a guy miss and throw it while he's basically on his toes. See, did you see Poyer drop back there? That's what he wanted to do right away, which is why he turned to that. No one's even covered on the left side, Hudson or Gesicki, because they didn't have enough guys.
Yeah. I just wanted to show that while you're talking about the difference between the Flacco offense and the Burrow offense.
He was fantastic 95% of the game. And really, the Bengals won this game at the 95% mark, too. It was really the last 5 minutes to crumble the way they did. And I think, defensively, you get them in two different situations here. The one, the Josh Allen 40-yard run. You get a free runner that is supposed to corral them, and they couldn't do it. Couldn't corral the quarterback, and he goes for 40. Like, that's not supposed to happen. And then number two, you actually, after that touchdown to T, and you get the timeouts, and you have a situation where it's 3rd and 15, you have, after a sack, you have a chance to actually get the ball back, and you let Allen run again. Really, that's the Bills' offense all day was really Allen running and finding a way to escape and make a play. And you failed on 2 hugely critical downs to get a stop, and they turned into the loss here on the other end.
Yeah, and this is a play where Joseph Ossai is off the field. He was dealing with a shin injury. He was in and out down the stretch, not in on this play. Also wanted to credit Deion Dawkins here. Not that we're doing too much in the way of like film analysis here or anything, but the depth Dawkins gets, knowing that he has 2 guys responsible. One, Oren Burks is coming from like 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, doesn't get off the ball super well. And this is a 6-man pressure from the Bengals. You're man behind it. So Allen knows nobody has eyes on me. If I get by this initial rush, and like, I don't know what we're doing in terms of a plan here throughout this game. Myles Murphy has a play where he crashes inside. There's nobody outside on the 3rd down. Josh Allen just runs around. Like, what are you doing? I don't know if that's Myles freelancing or if that's just like what they have dialed up.
And Ty Johnson on that run as well, where he falls. Like, no one on that edge crashes down. No one ever goes for him.
Which is crazy. But I don't know how you see this happen. You get a free runner. Great. But like Deion Dawkins does a great job of making, like, you're a free runner. And you're not turning the corner, like you're not running straight to the quarterback here, because Deion Dawkins does a great job of getting depth and being like, oh, am I going to block you? Am I not going to block you? I'm not going to block you, but I'm going to make you think I'm going to block you. So it forces Cedric Johnson to actually hesitate there and consider, like, do I need to use a move? Do I need to knock down hands? And then he ends up wider and deeper than he needs to be as a free rusher here. And Josh Allen does a good job in the snow. It makes it hard to plant and redirect, but got to have this play. But then that you have this play, and then you come back on 3rd and 15. And according to Jordan Battle after the game, this is quarters match.
Okay.
Plays out like, man, you got a 4-man rush. There's nobody looking at the quarterback here. There's nobody in the middle of the field. If this is a zone, then, and the Bills don't run anybody into the middle of the field. These are, you got 2 outbreakers, a go, you got a flat, you got a comeback, I think, on the bottom of the screen.
And Allen's running right away. Like, you see that? He pump rights and goes left as soon as he sees what it is.
I think he's looking here to throw again. Like, he's looking left and looking right. Now he's like, okay, no, I just need to make a guy miss and go. And like, he's 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage right now. And I get that you can't like abandon your coverage responsibilities right away, but he's 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody close to him until he's 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. It takes 20 yards before Geno Stone even is close. And Geno Stone had an up and down game. Overall, I would say not great. Had a couple plays, but like, just make this one. They're punting here, man, right?
Yeah.
You think they're going for it on 4th and 4 with a lead? You lose if you don't get it. Maybe they go for it. It was a very aggressive game from Sean McDermott after kicking that first field goal. They were 4 or 5 on 4th down, but this is why I think it was one of the dumbest losses they've had. Because you had the Joe pick 6, right? You have the T Higgins plays that we could look at too. T was making plays. He was not making plays. They were running Chase Brown, even though it was clear that Samaje Perine was a more effective runner today. It didn't look like
just
Chase Brown was
north-south. You
comfortable.
needed to be north-south today.
Chase Brown didn't look comfortable in the snow at all, whether it was his cleats or his style, whatever it was.
Shout out to the nice catch for a touchdown, though.
Yeah, and a drop on what could have been another touchdown, but
which one
kind
was
of
that?
immaterial. They scored right away.
Deep one right before. Yeah.
They scored right away after that. Great throw. Which is why it's like, Joe is awesome for so much of this game. And then you have the 2 interceptions that are dumb. And then, like I was saying, the reason that I think it's dumb is because, how do you call man or something that could play out like man and just not have – it's 3rd and 15, man. How are we not in just some vanilla spot drop? It's either blitz. You just can't play quarters match there. I don't know. It's like –
he just beat you for 40 on basically man coverage. So, what are you doing? I struggled with it because this is the 3rd week in a row where the receivers for the Bills offense didn't do a thing, right? It was not effective. Their passing game has been largely ineffective, other than the few plays where the Bengals defense treats the tight end as if they're not even there. They're not even on the field. Nobody's even covering Dawson Knox over the middle. No one's even covering these guys. Sometimes they're losing them in the red zone area. The 2 huge big plays are the Bills going for it on 4th down, right? And getting touchdowns out of it. If you stop them, if you turn those into field goals, if the Bills play conservatively, or if you stop them, this game is completely different as well. So while the 2 interceptions are huge, while I wish the run game was better today, while I wish T, could have continued and had an amazing game throughout from the beginning till the end, the defense still is lacking pass rush, lacking push up the middle, lacking enough athletes to really chase down Josh Allen, lacking enough defensive calls. Where were the defensive calls on 3rd down today to really make Allen confused? I think when you got him, it's because he missed or they had an issue. It really wasn't that you got great blitzes on him and got to him, because when you did get a free runner, Oren Burks and Cedric Johnson should be able to make a play there on that 40-yard run, but not enough talent, not enough good players, not enough impact players. I looked at this game, and when I was walking home or walking to the car, I was thinking, I wonder if Trey makes a difference in this game, because a little bit more pass rush probably steals you 1 possession in a game where that ended up being the difference.
Yeah, Allen was great in converting plays under pressure. The Bengals did get, 3 sacks, was it? A couple of those coming on scrambles, one of them coming on that play action play on that last drive of the game for the Bills. That was a good play.
It was great.
Not enough. According to PFF initial charting, Allen was pressured on 33% of his dropbacks. He was 2 of 5 on those dropbacks for just 19 yards and a touchdown, but he also scrambled for a lot of yards, I assume. He had 4 scrambles. I don't think. Yeah, I guess, the 40-yard touchdown run he was pressured on, because we just looked at that. Cedric Johnson was a free runner there. And
the
Josh Allen played great.
Touchdown,
you have to give him credit.
Probably the Hawes touchdown. Both of those are pressured. He may have bought time and then ended up pressured, but they're pressured plays where you got to finish.
Yeah.
Do you have those?
Yeah, just frustrating, because we talked about the tight end stuff, tight end overs. Bills first play of the game, 30+ yards on a
first play in the second half, I think, too.
Yeah, just went to it a couple times, and we knew it was coming. The Bengals surely knew it was coming. It didn't matter. We know it's coming, so do they. But also, to your point, Al Golden finding the times to get those blitzes home. The blitz was effective in this game. The Bengals blitzed 28% of the time, according to PFF. That's 10 of 36 dropbacks for Josh Allen. He was 5 of 7 on those plays, which is still pretty good. But I think that also leads to some missed opportunities for Josh Allen. Allen also gave the Bengals 2 chances at takeaways. DJ Turner had one hit his shoulder pad, and makes you wonder what would have happened. And Battle had one that would have been a much more impressive play. Not necessarily one that Allen just tried to give to you. But look, what did I say about the defense going into this game? If they can play some bend don't break defense, they can get a takeaway or 2. They've probably done enough. That's all you can really hope for against this offense. They played better against James Cook than I thought they would, but they got those couple takeaways. They had the takeaway on downs, the turnover on downs. They had the fumble to take away from James Cook.
Almost 2 fumbles basically on that same drive there, right? We ended up getting the one called back. Yeah.
It was still ruled a fumble. Just not out of the back of the end zone. So the penalty
Well,
still
it ended up
stood.
being a penalty, so the play didn't count. So that's why I said
Right.
almost 2 officially.
Oh, right. Sure. Yeah, fair enough. And they also forced the Bills into 1 field goal. If you told me the Bengals did that before the game, I'd have a lot of confidence they were going to win.
Yeah.
But the Bengals
But
offense gave 2 back.
Right. I was going to say until that point, they were winning until they matched it. Right. If you're up, basically, my brother and I were counting possessions. We're sitting right next to each other and we're like, is this going to end up being a shootout type game? And at first, the Bengals take half of the first quarter away. And then I'm like, the Bills probably will want to do the same thing, that, control the game. And they drive down, Ty Johnson falls, and then they ended up kicking a field goal after they get, stopped in the low red zone. And I'm like, well, there's one. He goes, I agree. That's one possession there. That's huge. Right. And then the interesting thing that kind of flipped the game script a little, not completely flipped, but it was an adjustment. It was when they ended up going for 2, I think, after the first drive. So that's the Khalil Shakir touchdown. They get a roughing the passer on Allen. So they said, let's just go for 2. And they convert. And now instead of it being a 4-point game, it's a 3-point advantage back, kind of as the Bengals go 10 and then 3, 10 and then 3. And that 3, the Bengals end up going for 2 later at the final possession. But those margins there, you lose basically by that 3-point margin, because you could have potentially, they never got the ball back, but you could have potentially, if you had stopped the Bills at that point, you're a field goal to win the game. And I was just like, during that time, I'm counting the possessions. I'm like, there's 2, there's 1, and now there's 2 back-to-back interceptions. You're down now. You need to steal a possession somehow. This defense needs to get a play at the end of the game, and they were unable to do it.
Yeah, the drive before the half, after the Bills' 2-point conversion, the Bengals answer it with the touchdown. They then get the turnover on downs in Buffalo territory, or I guess it was in Cincinnati territory. They end up getting to the Buffalo 40 after Tanner Hudson catch and run on 1st and 10. They get 2 straight first downs, a defensive holding, Tanner Hudson into Buffalo territory to the 40, and then they get the Christian Benford sack. But the Christian Benford sack comes after the T. Higgins drop-ish kind of play on the ball that fluttered out of Burrow's hands, the deep ball to T that T should have caught on that scramble drill. And if the Bengals get those plays, they're at least getting 3. Very well could get 7. Could be looking at 24-11, 28-11.
Yeah.
At halftime. Again, different
13-point lead could have been a big difference.
28-18. You things maybe go a little bit differently in the second half. They get to 28-18 eventually.
Yeah.
And then they have the 40-yard touchdown, the 2 interceptions, and things really go off the rails. For a points per play perspective, Joe, I wonder if this is the highest points per play for a game in quite a while. There were 73 points scored in this game, and the teams ran 56 and 60 plays respectively.
Wow. And that's
not a whole lot of plays for a lot of points.
That goes for the numbers too. The Bills typically run about 60 and give up about 60. So, because they tend to control the clock really well. And it felt like that, but the Bengals had quite a few drives. Was there only 1 punt each side?
The Bills did not
once,
punt.
Right? Okay.
The only time the Bills sent the kicker out was to kick a field goal. They were 3 of 4 on 4th downs in this game. The Bengals were 10 of 12 on 3rd downs in this game.
Wow.
You lose a game when you go 10 of 12 on 3rd downs. A lot of that was early. They started 7 of 7, I think, before that last drive of the first half, where they had T. Higgins and couldn't quite make the play. It's tough when it's just a couple of plays, man. But that's been the story of this team, right? Like,
how many games?
Just a couple plays every game. It's T. Higgins here. It's Joe Burrow there. It's
the defense.
Cedric Johnson here. It's DJ Turner on Dalton. What was that? Dalton Kincaid touchdown, a 4th down play?
The Kincaid one? No, it was not, because the 2 4th downs were the Shakir play and then the Hawes touchdown.
Yeah, the Hawes touchdown is just like the linebackers. No idea.
Yeah, just losing them. The Shakir play was crazy. From my angle, that was the end zone I'm sitting in. And as Allen throws it, I didn't see anybody open, right? And I'm like,
he wasn't open. He's not even looking for the ball. He's barely looking for the ball.
I think Knight kind of loses where Shakir is here, and it just goes over a shoulder pad. It went through like hands and arms from our angle. It was right behind there. I was like, what? Yeah,
that's what it looked like on TV too. Like, here's Shakir, here's Knight.
Okay.
And as soon as Shakir, not now Allen sees the nameplate. He's like, okay, I can throw it. And then he just throws it as hard as he can, falling away.
As 4 guys kind of converge. It goes right
Yeah.
through whoever's hands that was too, that jumped right in Allen's face.
Like
Crazy.
quite a tight window. Really incredible throw here.
You ran
Demetrius
into
Knight,
an MVP game also from Allen for the most part by putting the team on his back, running and throwing. I mean, just
it was a great game for Allen that the
I,
Cincinnati Bengals should have won.
before we go too far, I wanted some of the comments in there when I was talking about Trey. Trey may be done. Trey may never play for the Bengals. Trey may not be the same guy later. He may not even be on the team next year. That's not the point. I'm more when you miss a star player, it kind of makes you think like, all right, you need to have as many star players as possible, right? If you can, or a bunch of B+ players, and I'm not sure how many they have on the defense. So the impact of that high end player was definitely missed today, is what I mean. It can be Trey, it could be anyone, it could be their first pick, it could be Shamar Stewart being rookie of the year, whoever it may be. They were missing one more player on defense to make a play.
Yep. I mean, they're missing quite a few players on defense.
Sure. Yes.
But like one guy could certainly turn the tide. T. Higgins was back today. We've talked a lot about T in this game. Want to highlight some of the good stuff that happened because this is pretty incredible.
Crazy
Tight
catch.
coverage, great back shoulder throw, great catch, hands catch away from the body, great body control. I think he thinks he has to
get one more.
Stay in the snow.
I don't, right.
It's like, oh, I got to keep my feet in the snow. Gets 2 feet down here. Had a little bit more space maybe than he thought he did. But incredible play here from T.
The catch, did they show a replay? Because the Bills Stadium was terrible at showing replays. Did they show the one where he hits his head? Did he grab that and catch that ball on the out of bounds?
I think he did, yes. I don't have it here to look at it, but
we got a terrible amount of replays. If you've been to Paycor, they do a great job of giving you a replay on almost everything. They would not give us replays at all. I don't know what's going on. I even asked my brother, what's going on? Why? What's happening? He goes, they got in some trouble for showing replays and other teams challenging and winning challenges. So I think they're cut down on replays. I'm like, that's stupid. But this
another T. Higgins highlight here. Yeah. Another great throw, another great catch. I have no idea how there's not a flag on the field here.
Agreed.
White is very blatantly holding T. Higgins' hand. The reason that he has to try to catch it with one hand is because it's pass interference. He catches it anyway, so it's all fine. Another ball don't lie moment for these refs that like, man, the fumble was a true ball don't lie moment for James Cook in this game. But
you're right.
Heck of a play here for T. Higgins.
And this is right after the throw to Chase Brown, which was a dot as well. Same spot, same area. They were getting one-on-one there, and he took it. And that thing slid right down Chase Brown's chest. I mean, it was a A+ throw. Again, it's a shame to lose this game. It's a shame to lose in these situations when your quarterback plays as well as he does for the most part. Was that a one-handed catch?
Yeah, when they showed it? One-handed catch. Yeah.
Gesicki was awesome today too.
He was.
They had no answer for him. They didn't know how to cover him. It was interesting to watch. We were picking out like who's where and who's covering what. And the Bengals kept getting in advantageous matchups when they have all their weapons. They can do that on pretty much every play. And it was interesting how they were treating Gesicki as if almost he was a tight end at times. And I'm like, what is going on here? Because they didn't want to end up with a safety or a linebacker on Chase when Chase was getting in the slot. So they were like shifting everything over. There was even one time, I can't remember, I think the Bills called timeout on 3rd down. And Chase was in the slot and he had a safety on him. And Chase Brown was out wide with a corner on him. And Bills called timeout. And so I'm watching as, all right, Joe's going to go talk to Zach, but Chase went to go talk to Chase Brown. And he was like pointing what he wanted him to do on his release to almost to buy the attention of whatever he needed. And I'm thinking, are they going to come out in the same exact formation? They do. The Bills bring a corner, Cam Lewis, to cover Jamar in the slot this time. But Chase Brown, I can't wait to watch the tape again because I was watching Jamar run his route and he gets open for the conversion. But I'm like, what did he tell Chase to do here to actually run a route or to, whatever he was supposed to do? It was interesting to get in that perspective that the Bengals come out and get again and how the Bills were adjusting to it.
Yeah, I thought that it was a pretty well called game offensively overall, besides some second and long runs, which I guess are not going away. I just wanted to show this one too, because this is vintage Burrow. This is a touchdown to Chase Brown. Great angle, great replay here.
Good challenge. I mean, it probably inconsequential, right? They probably score.
Score. But heck of a throw. Cinematic with the snow
Super
And I mean,
cinematic.
would you know that Burrow had a toe the way he played today?
No,
I mean,
no.
he did not look affected to me.
You would, yeah, you'd have no idea actually. And it's been like you would say over the last 2 weeks, it makes you even wonder if he could have come back for that Pats game and would it have made a difference? Like,
Oh,
would it have really affected him? Because he looks as good as normal.
yeah, it seems like very clearly at this point he could have been back for that Patriots game. One of several regrettable
Yeah,
things about
in a
this
long
season.
season.
According to Montrovantis, he
Okay.
looked affected to him. He was hobbling on the rush and was sailing balls everywhere. I assumed there were grip issues. He was spraying the ball for a little bit of time in the middle of
He
that
was
game when
warming up on the sidelines a bunch. I don't know if they showed that on TV. He was making sure that grip was right.
there were a number of times that it looked like it looked to me watching live that the ball came out really weird, like he's
Yeah.
pushing it. But then the replay, like he kind of he gets enough zip on it. He's still spinning it, but I wonder if it is the wrist in the cold weather, even a couple
Mm.
years removed. I wonder if that's affected at all. But I mean,
He still wears that glove as soon as he comes off the field, on that right hand.
the guy threw a bunch of incredible balls today.
He did.
He had a couple mistakes, really just one mistake. Was there more than one mistake?
No, I wouldn't say. I wish he would have hit T when he was scrambling away, and T kind of couldn't judge how that was going. That's what made me think like is T concussion because like that ball he was so wide open that I thought Burrow tried to lead him to the open space, but I couldn't see the I never got to replay that play, so I didn't see how far off he was on T. But that was the other play I was thinking. And then obviously we don't know all the time which plays he's checking out of and running into, and and I usually get a better idea when I watch the film.
Yeah. I don't even think he was wrong to check into the play that he threw the interception on.
I wonder if the way I listened to Sean McDermott, the press conference on our ride home, because I was driving. I didn't have time to put on like iHeartRadio and get Zach Taylor or whatever. So I listened to Sean McDermott. I kind of wanted the opposing perspective. And he had a very confident when they were asking about that play and almost smitten. Like they knew they could maybe get Burrow to throw this and or RPO this if they were expecting an RPO, and like told Benford be ready and jump and get ready to make a play. And so like they almost baited him and kind of got him to do it.
That's believable.
Yeah.
Still looks like it was the right idea.
It was a great play by Benford. It is what it is.
Yeah. Let's give away a jukebox, shall we? What do you think? Is there anything else from this game that you want to talk about? I just am very upset about it.
Steelers beat the Ravens, right? Just so we're clear. I didn't. Okay.
Which makes it harder to get to the playoffs, even if the Bengals had won. But
largely, it's going to play out the way it does.
The hot seat conversation for Taylor down the stretch gets a little bit more interesting with losing this game.
Because it's a losing record this season.
It's a losing record for the first time with Joe Burrow playing, well, I guess not even playing a full season, but the first time since his rookie season. And they might win the rest of their games. And then we'll see what the front office does. Because we'll see.
Big things need to happen still, though, right? I mean, like, I'm not there in that headspace yet, but I'm sure people are because it's such. I don't have the same feelings because I was at this game that I was at the Bears game too. But the Jets and Bears back to back was like burn it all down, right? This to me is like it's the Bills. They're like the top 3 AFC team. You had them for 90% of the game, if not more. It kind of got more unlucky with your star quarterback and your offense that you believe works and believe in his decision making. All pretty much thoroughly, right? They almost never question what Burrow wants to do in this offense, as he's got full reign. If he checks out of a play and wants to flip it out to Jamar Chase, it's hard to complain about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things he does really well. Last chance to get that hashtag in the chat. Hashtag First Star Logistics for your chance to win a jukebox, a Bengals themed jukebox. And remember, next week we've got that metal wall art that there's a great picture of it on social. Just go follow at First Star Log on Twitter. And let's see who's going to take home a jukebox for their home. Let's see how many entrants we have. I'm very curious about this. If we can
Usually says
get
it right
that
before we
up
hit the button, right?
on the screen? I think it does. Let's add this to our screen here. Can you read that, Joe? It's a little bit small for me right now.
210, I think it says.
1 out of 210 people. That's the odds you're playing with here. You've got about a 0.5% chance, but one of you is going to go home with a sweet, sweet jukebox. Been doing these giveaways on the Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics for 2 years. We've been doing this show, giving away awesome stuff here. Let's see who our winner is this week. There it is.
There it is.
Congratulations to RPVZ8VV. It's
How do you pronounce that?
quite a mouthful. That's a good one. I don't know how the 8 is pronounced, but congratulations to RPVZ8VV. Make sure you're checking the comments here on YouTube for instructions on how to claim your prize. We will, of course, have you covered on the Jake and Joe Bengals preview show this upcoming week as the Bengals are preparing to take on the Baltimore Ravens for the second time this season. Maybe the Bengals can at least end the Ravens season. That's got to be a goal for them. We'll probably have to talk about some kind of.
Before we go, real quick, there is a bunch of comments that says RP has won just a couple weeks ago. If that is the case, he is ineligible to win this. Dave Burke, do you want us to run that back? If that's true, if he did win, if you know offhand, this is too big of a prize to.
That's a good point. Great point. Good reading the chat. We do have rules that say you cannot win.
We do. And if Burke's looking it up right now, I can see him on the bottom screen there. If you know Burke, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down whether or not we can run that again.
All right, we'll keep talking here for a little bit.
All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes.
Dave looks at that. The thing that I was going to mention is, yeah, you can potentially impact Baltimore season. We can look at the draft implications, of course, of everything. The Bengals losing today. Have you looked at what that did to their draft pick?
They're still at 10. Yeah, I did.
You did?
They're not getting enough elsewhere. They need some of these other teams to lose. I did have it up, and they like the Falcons need to win. They're tied with them. So they're still at 10. Nothing's really changed in weeks now.
Falcons now 4-9. The only teams ahead of them that won today are the New Orleans Saints, who go to 3-10, and the Tennessee Titans, who go to 2-11.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got another question for you here, Joe, while we wait to figure out what's going on with our giveaway here. Matthew Bloomfield wants to know how you stayed warm at the game. Was there ice on your seat? Did you bring a cardboard to stand on?
We brought a blanket. I did not. The concrete was fine. So I was standing on concrete. I did not bring cardboard to stand on that. I understand the concrete will suck the cold right out of your feet. But I had multiple layers on. I had long johns, jeans. I had long johns, a long sleeve shirt, a hoodie, and a jersey. I was good. My family, not so much. My wife was absolutely freezing. She works from home. I work outside. It is not a problem for me. I was cool. At one point, I took my gloves off, gave them to my daughter because hers were not good enough. We had hand warmers and stuff. So me and my son, we were cool. My daughter was fine too. I was actually very proud of her. 12 years old, first game she's ever been to. So that was fun for her. I think she had a good time. She likes to watch football with me and ask questions, and I enjoy that.
What kind of questions did you get today? Any good ones?
Oh, there's a lot. She gets, sometimes it's very superficial, like why would they do this? Why would they do that? But then sometimes, well, wait, if they go for 2, well, what about the, so she will start to get into situational questions, starting to understand that. I catch her watching YouTube videos of football and I'm like, okay, I think she'd make a good sideline reporter analyst, I think, in the future.
There you go. Future analyst, Goodberry Mini.
Mm-hmm.
While your son's out there playing. We also haven't talked about the offensive line today at all. They protected great. Again, this is 2 straight weeks of.
What was Burrow's pressure rate? Do you have that?
I can get it. It was like 10%, 15%. He was pressured on 6 of 38 dropbacks and took just 1 sack, which wasn't even a sack that the offensive line gave up. That was a free runner from Christian Benford.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's 2 weeks in a row. Humphrey got the one in the Thanksgiving game that was a free rush off a blitz. And then so offensive line pass protection wise has been good. And the Bills are basically, there was a times out there they had 4 straight or have only 4 defensive tackles lined up there. Morgan Fox has pretty much been a defensive tackle in his career. TJ Sanders is that defensive tackle. Like they are out of defensive ends. So there's some context there, but the Bengals offensive line pass protection wise has been much, much better. We also had a question. I didn't see the name because it went by, but I read it real quick. Why not go for the onside kick there at the end? Bengals had 2 timeouts. They had the 2-minute warning. It's probably why they were going so fast to try and score with shots to the end zone before the 2-minute warning, figuring the onside kick is such a low percentage thing that if you can kick it off, if you can get a stop, if you can get lucky, and they did. They honestly, it was the right call because they got into 3rd and 15 and just needed a stop to get the ball back.
Just trying to check on our giveaway here.
All right, guys.
What do we got?
No, I do not see on the list here of the last 2 years.
Very similar name then, huh?
Last week, the winner was Will Fugate dash ZG4PM.
Okay.
And going through the list here of the different giveaways, I do not see RP-VZ8VV.
All right. Well, there you have it. Congrats to RP-VZ8VV on winning this week's giveaway. You can win. You can claim your prize. Make sure you're just checking the YouTube comments. You can look on our previous week as well, and there will be instructions there on how to claim your prize. And we'll be back with you on the midweek show where, like I said, there will be plenty to talk about as Zach Taylor is going to be under more scrutiny this week. Al Golden's going to be under more scrutiny this week. We're going to talk about Jermaine Burton missing the team flight potentially and getting suspended.
I knew it right away. So they said he was suspended. I was like, suspended after saying it. He missed the flight. And then I got the locked on subscriber text right away. Said, yep, he missed the flight. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Brutal. So plenty to talk about, of course, as the season goes on, even though the playoffs are out of reach. We will continue to have you covered here on the Jake and Joe Bengals preview and post-game shows presented by First Star Logistics, where, look, man, even if this team isn't going to make the playoffs, we'll still have you covered. We'll still have the analysis. We'll still be thinking about this team going forward. We know this team well, and it doesn't make it any easier to stomach some of the stuff we see sometimes, but man, that doesn't mean that we're not going to do our jobs here and hopefully provide some entertainment for you and some awesome stuff to give away. And as always, if you're looking for work in the Cincinnati area, remember that First Star Logistics is looking to expand its brokerage department, and they could be hiring. So if you want to join the team, make sure you check out firststarlogistics.com for all of the job postings and one of the fastest growing top companies to work for in the Cincinnati area, who are a great partner for Joe and myself. They give away awesome stuff for you every week. You can check out those job postings again at firststarlogistics.com. Until the preview show, that's going to do it for this episode of the Jake and Joe Bengals postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. We'll see you next time.